This week we have Andrew Gomes. I hope it's Gomes or Gomez. You can correct me in a moment. Gomes. Thank you. Okay. I was right in the first shot. Late model driver at Seekonk. Very glad to have you. Andrew, you got us?
Yes, I got you.
Awesome. Really much appreciate your time. First thing we like to ask anyone who comes on the show, how did you catch the racing bug, Andrew?
My dad started racing. He's been racing for a lot of years. He started in the spectator drag division, and then he moved up into a street stock, and I've always helped him on the cars, and I've always been at the track, and I wanted to race, and it was just a matter of convincing my mom, and once we did that, I got a bando, and I was set to go, and now I'm in it.
From Bandolero to late models, how many years between starting your racing career to where you are now? How has that process been like, growing and going through the series?
Yeah, so I started in bandos. The first year, I was learned a lot. Second year, I came out, I think I won the top three in the first race, which was really a confidence boost, and I got a bunch of top threes that year, and I picked up my first win, and then last year was my last year in the bandos.
Now, did you get a chance to race in the Actor race this weekend?
No, I did not race the Actor race this weekend.
So what was the most recent race like for you? How did the weekend go? And what's there to learn for the next time out?
Yeah, the most recent race, we missed the setup a little bit for sure. It was the modified week, so they had put a bunch of Hoosier rubber down, and the track was all sorts of different from the week before. So I ended up getting tied up with Brightman a little bit and got some nose damage, but I think I still ended up 12th or 13th.
So, Andrew, how you doing? This is Paul. I met you on Friday night down the track. How is it you and your dad doing it and your mom? It's like a big family event going on at the track. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, everyone's there to support. It's usually me and my dad out in the garage working on the car through the week, and on Saturdays it's my mom's there, my sister's there, my grandpa's there, my dad's there.
What's been the hardest part about going from a car like a Bandolero to a late model? What's been the biggest learning curve of trying to get your team and your car to be the best it can be on the weekends?
Yeah, it's a big difference because the Bando, you're kind of just wide open the whole time. So it's more about not losing momentum than setting up passes and that kind of thing. And the late model, you have to think a lot more about what you're doing.
Hey, Andrew, this is Jim. To kind of follow up on that, what does the horsepower say in the Bandolero? And obviously it's a little smaller open-wheel car. And obviously the horsepower of the late model and obviously the weight and size of that vehicle. So like you were saying, obviously you drive totally different styles. So what's been the hardest part right now for you to learn the difference between the two? Like what has taken this is a little more different than what I'm used to, that maybe you, in your own mind, you're working on? Is it like where you pick up the throttle, where you get off, which line you take, compared to what used to work for you in the Bandolero?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just being consistent lap over lap, because with the Bando, you're full throttle. You don't have to really worry about when you brake and when you pick up the throttle. So it's a big learning curve to try to run the same thing lap after lap.
Is Seekonk the only place you've really gotten to test the skills out on, or have there been other tracks that have been difficult for you? What's that been like?
In the late model, we've only been to Seekonk. In the Bando, I went to Hudson, and I also went to White Mountain, and I also ran the New Hampshire road course, which was a blast. But the Hudson and White Mountain have a lot more banking than Seekonk, so it does make it easier in the Bando because it sticks with the track a lot better.
Is that the only that New Hampshire road course? Is that your only time turning left and right?
Yeah, basically.
You said you enjoyed it. What about it was so fun? Because I started to really fall in love with some left and right turns in stock cars and other times of racing.
Yeah, it's a whole different experience. You're more competing against yourself than you are everyone else. You get spread out a lot more, but it's more you not making mistakes because there's so many more opportunities to make mistakes.
So, Andrew, life's not all racing, too, so tell us about the other things you like to do in your life and just the other fun stuff that you're involved in.
Yeah, I'm a big airplane guy, so I like to fly RC planes.
Like RC plane? I'm jealous now. That's cool. What else?
Hopefully I'm going to be getting my private pilot's license soon.
Awesome. Wow.
Awesome. And I attend engineering and robotics at my school, so I'm on a robotics team. I like building robots and driving robots as well.
What like the BattleBot type thing?
They're more like skill-based robots. Like you have to complete a specific task.
Yep. Where do you go to school?
I go to school in Bristol, Plymouth.
Has any of the robotic stuff, engineering, has that helped you translate what information you learned there to be able to help a setup for a car or help whoever's working on it throughout the week? Does that help you understand stuff more?
Yeah, they do actually can kind of transfer back and forth more than you would think. Something I really began to understand with the robotics is center of gravity stuff, because we really try to get the center of gravity down in the robots, and I found out that like if you have your claw up an extra 2 inches, it makes it a lot more top heavy. And that translates to the car because you're trying to get the CG as low as possible in that as well.
There's not many stories I hear of robotics interests translating into racing interests, but it really does seem like
engineering.
Yeah.
Do you also get to use like the machinery and stuff, like make your own parts for the robotics, and has that translated to car racing? I love making my own parts. I love it.
Yeah, the robotic stuff all comes in a kit, so you don't really get to make your own stuff.
Yep.
But we do milling and lathes and stuff in school.
Learn to use them, because it you're going to bail yourself out someday when you have to make something.
Andrew, This is Jim again. To kind of follow up on, so you're at Bristol, Plymouth, so you're in high school.
Yes, I am.
And you're racing late models, which many kids are trying to get their driver's license. You're driving a 400 horsepower race car. But to go back about your engineering interest, it will pay off. The first really race car driver who had an engineering degree and applied it to racing was Alan Kowicki. He was the 1992 champion. Unfortunately, he lost his life the following year. But getting that education and applying it to racing. I don't think a lot of people really understand. It's more than just putting a car and driving in circles and putting your foot in the gas. There's a lot of skill, preparation, things that you use, and math and science to make a race car go fast, and then the human input of the driver to apply that to be a winner. So I'm sure that makes it very interesting, no?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes for racing that people don't realize. The hours me and my dad spent in the garage working on the car, and the different kind of tricks you find when you've been working on these cars. Like we found all sorts of tricks in the bandos that help you go faster, just setup tricks.
How much would they let you get away with? Is there heavy spec? Like, do they make sure your car is to a T each weekend at Seekonk, or is there a little bit of leeway where you can maybe get a tenth here, get a tenth there?
Yeah, the bandos, they're especially with the blue paint, it's a lot of motor, but you can also do a lot of stuff with setup. Basically the whole idea with the bandos is try to get them to roll as quick as possible. And with the late models, with the late models, you're trying to do the opposite. You're trying to get as much grip as possible because they have enough power. In the bandos, you want them to roll and not grip up because they don't have the power. So you're trying to get as little friction as possible.
In the next handful of years, do you have a racing plan? Is it day by day, or do you see yourself somewhere maybe more of a touring series than just a local weekly series at a track? Do you see that becoming part of your plan?
I mean, I would love that to be a part of my future. I like late models. I like super late models. That's probably what I would like to do, whether it's pass or actor.
Andrew, who helps you guys get going and get to the track? You got to have some sponsors and some people behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Route 6 Automall Kia. They're kind of our main sponsor. We have Done Right Auto, H&C Security, RDL Equipment, Spring Villa, Somerset Marina, Graphis Incorporated, Lou's Custom Garage, Peter Andrews Construction, SMR Metal Recycling, and Coastal Water and Sewer Excavation, as well as me and my dad working on the car. Ryan Kuhn helps with setup stuff sometimes.
Ryan Kuhn, friend of the show. What's next on the schedule for you? What's the next race, and what do you got to look forward to?
The next race is this Saturday. We're going to make a couple setup adjustments, I think. Hopefully the track's back to how it was the first week. The car was really good the first week.
Are you making changes based on weather, or like I assume from an outsider's point of view who doesn't understand too much about how to set up a car, when you go to the same racetrack every weekend, is there things that genuinely need to be changed, or is that just based on what's going on at the track that day?
Yeah, Late models are new for the both of us, me and my dad both. So we're trying to try new things, see what stuff does, see how it affects the car, and just try to get as much time out of it as we can.
Is this your first season in the late models? You just moved up from Bandolero?
Yeah, this is my first season. I've done 2 races so far.
2 races, all right. How would you say it's been going, genuinely? Of these 2 races, do you think like you're on the right track and the team's moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's been good. We've learned a lot already just in the 2 races. I've learned a lot, especially driving-wise. Some mistakes and I've made, and I'm going to be able to fix those in the future.
So, Andrew, I understand what you're saying when Hoosier Rubber's going down and you guys are running AR Rubber. Explain it to these other guys here what that does to your car.
Yeah, so they run a different rubber compound. So when you try to put them on each other, they don't really race that well as the modified, put down a lot of rubber, so it kind of clogs up the track, and it basically just feels like you're driving on ice. It's like there's no grip anywhere.
It gets you greasy. Yep.
Yeah, it's very greasy.
Is the Hoosier tires have more grip, or like vice versa?
Hoosier on Hoosier will give you more grip, but when you're running Hoosier on American Racer, it gets greasy. And when I go to Seekonk myself, because we're running Hoosier Rubber, like Open Wheel Wednesday, the modifieds are there and us, so I don't really change a lot. But when I go there's on a Saturday and we're running Hoosier with American Racer Rubber, I got to change because my car's not going to be the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. Obviously, that's a huge adjustment because people will understand the compounds of the tires. They mix differently. It's like mixing water and oil, or you put something like that. But back on to school. What is your plan? Obviously, right now this is a hobby. I mean, every young racer's dream is to go into a touring series and obviously to the top of either NASCAR or IndyCar racing. Are you going to go on to college when you're done with high school? Are you going to pursue engineering? What is kind of, I guess, your backup plan?
Yeah, I'm going to pursue engineering, and I also want to be a pilot. So I know there's a couple of schools where you can major in engineering and get your pilot's license in the facility. So I'm hoping to do that maybe.
Well, you sound very ambitious. There's 2 very good race car drivers who are pilots, Bill Elliott and Rusty Wallace. So who knows? Maybe you will follow your dream, and maybe you'll achieve it. Who knows, right?
I know Bridgewater State is one of the few schools or colleges around here where it has like an aviation program and you can learn how to fly and do all that. So I hope you really do pursue that you've had a great story, learned a lot from you, Andrew. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck this weekend in race number 3 in the late model career, and I really believe that you're going to start doing some great things, man. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's been a great time.
Absolutely.
You're very
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
We'll see you at a racetrack soon.